For sure. That's comedy in 2024. We're in a weird thing right now.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, we're on. We are now on YouTube, and then we're gonna hit record on here. Someone told me I have the best setup from 2012, and I was like, okay,
You know what?
fair enough.
I have my phone on a tripod, so you're doing way better than me.
Hell yeah. Well, we are officially live. Dubz General is here.
What up? What up?
How long you been in Austin now? Almost a year, right?
In January will be a year.
January will be a year. I thought you came in like December.
So I flew. Matter of fact, I did, and that's when I was at the mothership with the fucking Brian Holtzman.
Okay.
I flew in December, did the show, and then I drove back and I was like,
Because I knew I met you like walking by Vulcan.
"Yep,
You like knew who I was from Kill Tony or something,
Yep.
and you're like, I got to get you on the podcast soon, something like that.
I think it was we were in line for the open mic, and I was recording everybody, taking
Yes.
video, and you were one of the people that were there.
Yeah, that has to be it.
Yep,
So time flies. It's already Halloween in a few fucking days.
it's crazy.
I mean, Kill Tony is back tomorrow. It makes its triumphant return.
Is it?
Tomorrow it's back for the first time in 3 weeks.
I did not know. Well, now
Yep.
I know.
Yep, so
I'm glad.
mean-
I'm glad you said something because I swear
put
I
some
didn't
gel in your hair, put on your tap dancing shoes, and get down there because your life could be changed forever, as we all know.
or not
Or not. I'm being fucking sarcastic to the highest degree. I'm gonna sign up though. So
Same.
It's the Monday. It's people always like, oh, I mean, I get all the gripes, I get all the complaints. I trust me, I understand. I battle with it every week, but at the same time, it's like they're like, oh, it's a waste of time because let's say it's 2 hours out of the fucking week,
Yeah.
3 hours max.
You know what I think that people don't use it for the right things. Like if you're there, you're around all these other comics. Why don't you network? Why don't you see what shows are available? Just there's fucking 100 and 200 people out there.
Oh yeah, 100%, dude. Like the networking thing is, I battle with it, and it's a bit more overrated than what actually comes to fruition in real time every time. But the possibility, it's just like Kill Tony. It's like, yeah, there's a 3% chance you get on, but if you get on, you get on. If you're out there talking to the right people, you could set up a little miniature tour. You could be in a city a week from now that you would have never gone to.
Very true.
Crushing on stage, meeting another person in that room that you would have never met, but you chose to go out on a Monday night, meet some comedian from Atlanta, and now you're doing shows in another state. That's what happens.
It's really that simple because you got people. I mean, even people that are from overseas. You got people that come from Sweden, from Australia. Like some dude hit me up from Australia, was like, "Hey mate," and I was like, "We don't even talk like that." Like he was like, "But we're gonna be in town, and can you tell me where I can park if I'm gonna be sleeping in my van?" I was like, "Not under the bridge." Like I was trying to tell him. I was like, "Why are you sleeping in a van?" He was like, "That's how we get around here in Australia."
That's
the
the American dream is to come and be homeless in the United States of America, I guess. Like
I can't do it, bro.
Bro, that takes me to another point where I understand it and I have empathy, but like a lot of these comics that just want to be straight up homeless or live with 13 other dudes, I'm like, I'm so good on that I can't even express it. Like,
well, I think we're a little bit older than these like 21, 22-year-old, you know what I mean? So
dude, it's not even, I see dudes that are 35 doing this shit though. So I mean it's not everybody, but there's a lot of guys that are like in their 30s and even older. And like I said, I'm not trying to judge, but I'm saying for me, I would be a wreck. Like, I mean, you got to have your mental health intact in order to tackle this comedy shit. It's already a big burden and half of what we fight against every day in our heads anyway. So to be like living under a bridge, living with dudes you hate, living with smelly men that are fucking up the kitchen. I couldn't do it, dude.
No, listen, I can understand like chasing your dreams, but I moved out here with like a lump sum of money before I and not like 10,000, like 30, and was like, all right, I'm gonna give me some time, find a job, and get to where I need to. If I didn't have that money, I wouldn't have came.
Oh yeah, bro, you're telling me I had like a decent amount of money, not like as much as you, but then I got hit by a drunk driver and got a fucking settlement and a new car. And that allowed me, it was good and bad because I mean, I didn't fuck off because I was working hard at stand-up and, doing what I had to do creatively. But I was like, I can just make a couple $100 a week doing Uber Eats. Fast forward 18 months later, I have no money. So it's just like, yeah, that you should have probably been, getting a more actual work in as opposed to just chasing stage time.
So when I moved, I had that money. I didn't have a job for 6 months. My rent was $2,200.
Oh my God!
So imagine by the time I got to get a job and move to the place where I'm at now, I had no money to. I'm back to where I was when I left.
Yeah, and I'm still hustling this Uber Eats shit. Like tonight, like I have to make like $150 today, and I haven't done any deliveries yet. So I'm gonna do this podcast. I have a spot at East Austin, and then till like midnight, I'm just gonna fucking hustle food deliveries.
That's dope. That's dope. I mean, as long as you have that option, because remember there was a time where you had to find a different way to make money.
Right, 100%, dude. And I'm at the point I can't get a regular job. Like it's almost to a fault.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I'm physically capable, mentally capable, but I almost get like. It almost makes me sound like a bitch. Like I almost get anxiety over like, oh, you got to work 60 hours a week and be up at 6 a.m. I'm just like, I'm not built for that anymore. It's been way too long. I put too many chips in the comedy basket that it would feel like it would be all for nothing if I went there.
Bro, let me tell you, I am a full-time dad. Okay,
yeah.
I wake up at 8 o'clock in the. Well, no.
Oh my God.
I wake up at 6:25, get the kids to school, get to work, do an 8-hour shift. Trying to fucking juggle comedy, trying to juggle fatherhood. This shit is overwhelming, but it's all for a good cause. Like once I get to that promised land, I look back and be like, all right, well, I did those things, and it built character.
Oh, hell yeah. Say. Like I've said to you and some other people, like you got to figure it out. It's never going to be easy. But this romanticizing shit that you see, like that Bill Burr meme where there's dramatic violins and he talks about like, oh, sleep on the couch, at a friend's house,
fuck that.
Or is a better option than looking back on your life with like a fat wife that you hate. And I'm like, fine, but there's so many other variables and other ways that plays out. Like that's cute when you're 26 and you've been doing comedy for 8 months, but when you're 40 years old and you actually have the tools to do this and nothing is breaking your way, it's not as inspirational.
If you are not using that 35-year-old bitch and getting your shit together, I don't know who taught you. Okay, that's the goal, is to use the bitch, get that next level, and then leave.
Dude, I know so many bum comedians that have like a wife that makes like $70K a year, and they make like $4,000 a year doing comedy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, and they're fine, and their wife is fine with it. And I'm like, as long as she's cool, it is what it is. I mean,
damn, I miss those days.
Oh my God,
those are the good old days when I used to be able to do whatever the hell I wanted, and now I have this thing called responsibilities.
Oh my God, all right, I'm trying to post this on Instagram right now just to give.
Yeah, no doubt.
So here we go.
But yeah, man, trying to figure this whole process out is not easy at all. It's so many highs and lows. You're like, oh yeah, I got this, and then the next week you're like, what is going on right now?
Dude, it changes on a daily basis almost.
Yeah, it does.
The only thing that keeps me from going like full blown crazy or quitting is the fact that I have good sets.
Yeah.
I go on stage, even if I'm in a good mood or a bad mood, and yeah, I bomb occasionally. Like, I'm a human being. I take risks. Rooms are tough. I'm not the funniest person of all time, but mostly, and especially lately, I'm having these great sets, and I'm just like, in a weird, fucked up way, and this is a horrible way to think, it almost makes it worse, because I'm just like, if I was out here bombing, I would be like, all right, this makes sense, I ain't getting anything. But when you're out there crushing, it makes it more frustrating.
For sure. I mean, but okay. So how do I feel about Austin? Like, it's different. It's different, man. It's a different scene. Like when I was in Tampa, if you were good, you just stood out.
Being funny, it's the only scene I've ever been in where being funny, it doesn't matter. And I say that in all seriousness, not any shade, not being like, insecure or there's a lot of funny people in Austin.
Yeah.
But you have to check like 5 other boxes in order to have the rite of passage of being accepted in the rooms that matter, in the clubs that will actually book you.
I think I got here too late. I think that if you would have got here, and any of us would have got here.
Bro, I got here in 2021. I've been here 3 years. Next week will be 3 years for me. That was a year and a half before Mothership. That was when Kill Tony was still at Vulcan. That was when like 80% of the comics that live here now weren't even here.
And then, so what do you think the disconnect was between that time and now? Because I remember, flying out here in 2021 and seeing other comedians, but there's only a few that I saw then that I see that are doing like Fuzzy. I remember seeing Fuzzy early. Who else did I see early? It was a group of them that were just here early, and a lot of them work at either the Mothership or the Vulcan or probably Sunset. But for the most part, what do you think the disconnect was?
I don't know. I mean, it's a lot for what I've chalked it up to, and I could be wrong. There's a chance I am. Is that you have to like I said, you got to check certain boxes. Like you got to be friends with these people, and I'm not saying disrespect them. I'm always cordial, professional. I'll be nice in a real way, not a fake way. Like I'm just gonna be nice because you can do something for me. Be a good, nice, professional person.
Yeah.
That's not good enough. You have to be actual friends with them. You have to run your own show.
Yeah.
And you got to brown nose a little bit or have massive clout on the internet. That's the only way I've seen that you can jump over the barrier. But you're never going to be funny enough to overcome people that book their friends who then in return book them.
Yeah.
So it's just like I can book my buddy who books me and we get along and we're cool. I don't care if this dude's probably funnier. Like there's, you got to you got to figure it out.
I think, yes, I agree with everything that you said. But I also believe that sometimes when people get opportunities, they don't take full advantage of the opportunities. Right?
For sure.
If I go to a club and I get in that club, I'm going to try to find out who I need to talk to that does the booking. I don't believe in any time where I'm like, I did so well that someone's gonna like waiting on Adam to come tap you on the shoulder. Right. Nobody is sitting in the club being in the back like, you know what? He had a killer set and I want to go talk to him. Like, what makes you any different from the next person that gives a good set? What is the difference between the two? And for me, you either have it or you don't. You either had that thing where people are like, oh man, that dude's dope, or you could tell that you need some work, right? And I believe you're one of the stronger comics here in Austin.
Thank you.
And I think that if you were a little bit more vocal about opportunities, and this is just me, because I see people booking you, but I don't see you being like, hey, and now I'm not around you all the time.
Right.
But is that something that you can be better at as far as like finding the right people to ask versus them finding you?
Yeah, no, I'm horrible at selling myself, reaching out, getting in people's faces, and not in an aggressive or annoying way. But I don't know. It's something I'm trying to work on, and I send out emails. I just built an EPK.
There you go.
And yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's like
that's something that you should be doing as well. I mean, all of us, not just you, but all of us need to put together electronic press kit, have some clips on there, have your information, your bio, and then shoot those to the clubs within driving range, right? You got Oklahoma, you got New Mexico, you got Louisiana.
I mean, Texas, there's 50 fucking rooms. New Orleans isn't that far. Hell, Arkansas is only like 7 hours. If and there's loony bins and there's, random little C-level clubs there that would probably headline you if you hit them at the right time with the right connections.
And that's what I'm saying. Like and this is me included, right? A lot of times I'm like, I just killed. I did a great show. Someone should come in and work with me. And it doesn't always happen. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you'll get lucky and somebody will come talk to you. But for the most part, it's a you got to do it yourself kind of thing. And that's the hard part, because you're like you're moving forward, but you don't see much ground, at least for me. And I'm like, well, if I've been doing this for a year, I've only been here a year. I expect to be a regular somewhere.
For sure, dude. I told myself when I moved here, I was like, I got a 2-year plan.
Yeah.
And if things aren't going the way that I think that they should be going, then I'll reevaluate and potentially move. I'm about to hit year 3, and I'm not trying to move even at year 3, because like, where else am I going to go? The internet is king, and it's an important city, regardless of the politics. A lot of just open mic culture that I think is kind of hurting the scene. which is being an open micer is fine. We all start. I'm talking about the whole Kill Tony spirit where people don't even work at comedy and think they're going to win the lottery at the hardest thing that's ever existed.
I don't think that. So maybe there's a few, but for the most part, I just think people are here to get that, quick moment of fame, and get that, and with no prior experience, and
it's crazy.
But if you think about American Idol, you know how many people went up there with no fucking talent and wanted to freaking act like they had talent. So maybe they really believe that they.
And I get it, but it feels like a get rich quick scheme, and it's just, I'm not even gonna like. We're already kind of. I'll say anything on here for the most part, but I don't want to like. There's people I've seen where they've gotten shit on Kill Tony where it's, in my opinion, it's kind of ruined their opportunity.
I haven't seen him in a while, but I know what you're talking about,
bro. I'm saying, look, here's my opinion. What is better? You're already kind of a mid-level open micer, and you're learning the ropes, and you're a very hit and miss stand-up even on regular shows. Now there's a legacy of evidence of you bombing on the biggest podcast in the world on a weekly basis, and there's just thousands of assholes that fucking hate you on Reddit now. How is that better than just like working hard for the next 5 years and actually getting funnier? I think I would have, if I was that person, I would feel cursed. I'd be like, this is the worst thing that could have happened to me.
But you have to understand how delusional people actually are, right? Like, you give someone a platform and you say, hey, build. You go on there. It's like when I first started, I used to think I killed. And then when I would listen back to it, it would be mid.
Yeah.
Right? So for somebody to be on a major platform like that, to millions and millions of people that are going to see it.
Yeah.
You're going to believe that you killed it.
For sure. It's a phenomenon called laugh ears. Have you heard of this before?
No.
To me, it flirts with like true mental illness, but that might be being extreme because I feel like every comic has gone through a phase of it. But then there's some people that are legitimately like clinically crazy where they bomb on stage. I'm not even saying they get a little pop here and there because once you get better at comedy, even if you are getting laughs, if it's not like really profound, you still kind of feel like you bombed or it was mid.
Yeah.
I'm talking people flatline and they go off stage and they act like they killed it. I'm like, that is like a schizophrenic. Like you're hearing voices. There's nobody was laughing. Like, why are you acting like that was good? It's called laugh ears.
I had that at the first year.
I think we've all had it a little bit.
The first year of comedy, I was like, oh my God, I just murdered. I get off and it was literal. I heard a cricket in the background. I was like, okay, maybe I didn't kill it, but
right.
But again, if like when you're on a main stage with millions of people watching you, you can be delusional. And if you're not reading the comments and all the people around you are telling you how great you are, it's kind of hard for a person to
have a realistic gauge of what they're actually doing. You're right.
Come on, man. And I'm the type where I can acknowledge when I don't do well. I try to be very even keel when it comes to being honest about my sets.
Right.
There's some terrible motherfuckers that are up, but that's the beauty of the show.
It's almost uplifting and inspirational when I see bad comics go places in this business because I'm just like, oh, anything is possible. The sky is the limit. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's not like only the best of the best or like real hitters are the ones that make it out. It's just like true. No, there's like people that objectively aren't good. And this is like I know I sound like a hater, but I'm just like some people just aren't my cup of tea. Yeah. And in fact, I try not to say this person isn't funny if they're wildly successful. I just say they don't make me laugh.
Yeah.
But there's other people where I'm just like, I'm sorry, this just isn't good. It's not stand-up.
I've learned to realize that everything doesn't have to be your cut and dry stand-up, right? Like Gallagher with the fucking, that's the dude.
Of
with
course,
the
the dude with the rest in peace. Right? He died like a couple years ago.
Like something different and
Carrot Top.
But people go to see
Jeff Dunham.
That type of
it's
thing.
Genres, just like music.
For sure. So
like Juvenile's coming to Austin. Do you think people that listen to fucking, Randy Travis are going to go to that concert? No, they're not. It's a different style.
Yeah, some people just don't have appreciation for, not appreciation, but they're not in tune with whatever they're doing. Like there's a person that is in the scene that does the same type of jokes all the time, and it's some quirky, weird shit. And I'm like, I like it because that is them. If anyone 100%. Else comes in and tries to do that, I'm gonna be like, dude,
you're biting.
What are you doing? So those are the type of things that I also like. I also like storytellers, right? But where we don't have that much time to listen to storytellers. So you're getting 100%, 3 minute, 5 minutes here, but when you go to the main shows, it's a lot of bop, bop, bop versus storytelling. So it just depends on who you're going to see. Because I saw Bruce this weekend.
Okay,
and when I was excited, I was like, oh, man, I get to see him.
I remember him on Comic View when I was 10 years old. And I was like, Bruce is fucking funny.
Bro, he's outdated, bro.
Dude, I mean, I don't doubt it because I see a lot of guys that like, even like their references. Like there was a dude in Tucson like 2 years, like maybe 3 years ago before I moved, and he was doing this fucking story about he was a Hollywood tour guide, and his punchline was like Paris Hilton, and I was like, what is this, 2005? Who the fuck mentions Paris Hilton as far as a Hollywood celebrity?
Like. So he was funny. I will not say that he wasn't funny. That would be fucked up. It was just, it literally reminded me of Comic View. Like, when I saw it, it wasn't like, oh, he has new stuff. Some dude walked around and he had on a nice dress shirt, and he was like, oh, look at him. He looked like a church window. And I was like, that.
Yeah.
And I saw the pattern, and you were so right. But I was like, I heard, like, I don't know. It just wasn't. I was in the back, and I was like, okay. Like, I saw Tony Roberts maybe, like, a month ago.
Yeah.
I was dying.
Right.
Stomach was hurting. But to see Bruce and him to do okay, I was like, matter of fact, he gave a dude a shirt that said, Bruce, GOAT, and the dude threw the shirt back at Bruce.
Wow.
He was like, you ain't no goat. No, he didn't say that, but that shit was
That's
wild.
What he was implying.
Bro, it was, I mean, I don't know. Comedy has changed over time, and I realized that certain people go to the show specifically to see what that person does well, right? So if you're going to go to a Nate Jackson show, you're hoping that you see crowd work. If you go to a Ali Sadiq show, you're waiting to hear a story, right?
20-minute story that's
like,
captivates you.
So each person, when you're going to a show, especially if you know the artist, you know what to expect. Like Country Wayne or any of these internet people, you go to see them do whatever they do on the internet. That's what intrigued you to go see them. So people are like, internet comedians aren't comedians. I'm like, they don't have to be. They just have to sell tickets, and people come to see them for what they do.
100%.
Yeah. I'm just trying to I don't want, because a lot of times people are like, the internet people are fucking shit. And I'm like, you're mad because you're not selling tickets, bitch. If you were selling tickets, you wouldn't be worried about the internet, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's a business. And something I need to get better at, too, is if we were to make like a sketch show or to just produce fuckloads of TikTok and content and it blows up, you know how much of a better position you'd be in if clubs start hitting you up? Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm actually a stand-up comic. I'm not an internet personality that's now trying to headline.
Yeah.
Like trying to headline without even going through the open mic level.
Wild.
Like I said on the last podcast, and this might be dramatic, but I was like, that's almost like a surgeon that didn't go to medical school. They have some concept of what they're operating on and what the utensils are, but good fucking luck performing the surgical incisions and shit. It's like you won't even know what the fuck you're doing.
No idea. Like when I first started, I thought I was the shit. And it took me to actually see somebody that was really good at this and be like, I don't have a callback. I don't have any of the technical skills for my set. This person is doing it multiple times. He's doing it like effortlessly, right?
Yeah.
So then 3 years in, I'm like, okay, I have a callback here, I have a callback there, but there's no structure. Now listening to like some of the comedians talk about how they break down the jokes and how they move this joke here to see if it hits better, I was like, I got a lot of work to do because I don't do none of that shit.
Yeah.
I'm free falling. I'm like, all right, we're going to start with this one. This one's going to go in the middle, and I know what my closer is. But everything else in the middle is like me juggling jokes.
Right. There is, well, they break it into what they call bits and chunks.
Yeah.
So it's like a chunk, if I remember correctly, a chunk is like, oh, everything on this subject matter is together. And that is that's my used car chunk or whatever, or my angry wife chunk. And it consists of several different bits within that chunk. And it could be, 11 minutes or 32 minutes or whatever, depending on how long it is.
And I don't even, man, I'm telling you, I go up there and I'm like.
Transitions, too. It's like sometimes it's okay. You get a big laugh and applause break. You reset the room. You can go into something different. But sometimes it's awkward and you need a bridge. Exactly. To the
next subject.
Yes. And it's just like you end the punchline is, let's just say, the punchline is the bitch looked like a snake or something. As dumb as that is. And then you start talking about pets. Like I once had a snake that and then it's like, okay, you kind of.
See, I do none of that, dude.
Yeah, I try to, and
I'm like fat bitches. All right, and AIDS.
Yeah.
I'm a single dad. Like, that's probably why I'm not getting booked.
I mean,
I get hella laughs, but it's no structure whatsoever. It's like a cocktail.
So here's the thing about comedy. I always compare comedy to sports, basketball specifically, because you have your strengths, your weaknesses, and some people are never going to be good at defense. They're going to try. Like Carmelo Anthony, it's not. Yeah, he was a horrible defender, but it's not for lack of giving a fuck. He tried and got a little better. Some people just aren't going to have the mechanics.
He was a scorer for sure.
He was a scorer. He's going to put up 29 a game, but he's going to give up 32. It is what it is.
He is.
So for myself, I'm getting better at it. I realize it's a tool that I haven't utilized as much. I'm not great about so what do you do? And just forcing crowd work and fishing for conversations.
Yeah.
I'm okay at it, but I'm never going to be the Michael Jordan of fucking talking to the crowd. But I'm great with writing. And there's some people that can do an hour of crowd work, but when it comes to jokes, it's real hit or miss.
For sure. And that's why I like Nate, because I've seen Nate do both at a high level. I'm trying to learn how, when I would do crowd work, I would just add it into my set. So if I have a joke about, I have a joke right now where I'm like, what would you, or if you had a choice to choose the way you die, how would you choose? I already know the joke that I'm going to do after that, but I just want them to say some stupid-ass answer.
Right.
They say some stupid-ass answer, I clip that, post that, and then I go into my joke. And you don't never have to hear my joke. It'll just be that clip. Who's your favorite superhero? I asked that question because everybody's answer is going to be different. There's going to be some repeats, but then I can also make a joke off the repeat because I've heard it before. And then I go into my favorite superhero, but that's my way of doing crowd work without having to say, so what do you do for a living and where are you from? Because I think that is just, like you said, pulling teeth.
I think that, the best crowd work has an already set response from you, whether it's just I already had the punchline of this joke works regardless of what the fuck they say. But if they say some crazy shit, I'm funny enough to weave some off the top, which elevates the joke. So that, my closer I've been doing for fucking years now, where I ask the woman if she'd suck her husband or boyfriend's toes. If they say yes or no or anything,
you got something for it.
Sometimes, and then I'll ask them a couple more questions, and then I already have 2 punchlines that closes the joke strong.
Yeah.
But if I'm talking to them for 30 seconds or 2 minutes, it becomes like a crowd worky joke, but the ending is already set. It's not me just fishing for just whatever.
And I think that's a part of writing that is ingenious, because you get you don't know the filler. You know where the dismount is. Yeah. You're just I got to get to the dismount. But any way we go, we're going to end up at that dismount. And that's just, again, putting that together is genius, because I'll write it and I don't know. I'm going to say superhero. You're going to say Wonder Woman. I'm going to make some weird shit about her fucking wrist things or her fucking lasso. And then I'm going to go into my joke. It's already preset, but the crowd doesn't know that. The crowd is wow, he said this about this.
That's the whole thing, is to kind of trick the audience into them thinking that you're just they know this is a comedian. He's telling ironed out material, but to make it sound like it's just you.
I don't believe they do. I think they're dumb. I think the crowd is idiotic, and they're like, oh my God, he came up with that on this.
Yeah.
Every time.
Kind of. Some crowds. But I mean, people that are big comedy fans and they go to a real club, a lot of them are aware, but to make it sound authentic and natural. I did some set at Peckerheads the other day where I did like half fucking with this dude in the front with his super hot fiance, and then I weaved in jokes that kind of fit the conversation, and I had a good set. And this drunk Mexican dude came up to me because the comic after me, he's real. He's real. He's real. I call it Chat GPT a little bit, where it's just like, oh, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And he was just like, bro, it was like you were just talking to us or some shit. He doesn't realize it took me like 8 or 9 years to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I've always had good jokes, but it's always been more like rehearsed, and even if it's a story, it's more like I'm doing a performance. Now it's like, okay, I'm just shooting the shit with you guys now.
That's me. I don't go up there. Like at first I'm very nervous, of course, and then once I get on stage, it's like something switches to where I'm like, I just got to get you in the first couple of seconds. Once I got you, it's very difficult for me to lose you. I can lose you with some of the content or the subject matter, because my matters aren't always the nicest. But for the most part, like I just know how to grab you. Once I grab you, good luck.
That's what Diddy said too. No, I'm just kidding.
He did. What do you love most about the Austin scene compared to the Phoenix scene?
Well, here's the thing. Like Phoenix, I'll say this: Austin needs more actual comedy clubs. So to like the available state, I'm in a different place. So when I lived in Phoenix for years, I was like a 2 to 7 year open mic, just chasing stage time.
Yeah,
I'm at a different point now. So there's hella stage time out here, but there's way more comics here. And in Phoenix, there's like 6 legitimate comedy clubs. Austin, I've said this before, and I keep saying it on the podcast. There's one comedy club in Austin. It's Cap City.
Yeah.
That's the only business-oriented, regularly scheduled headliner. Fucking Earthquake is here the 27th through the 29th.
Yeah.
Rob Schneider is here the 30th through the 3rd. It's just like no other fucking club has that in Austin, and they want to say it's the comedy mecca. And the mothership is on its own planet. Like, I'm not even discounting or throwing shade or hate, but the mothership is, sure, that counts too, but it's different.
It is.
And then there's all these other clubs that are local based, and we need that, and I embrace it too, but I'm not going to pretend like those clubs are like real comedy clubs. They're not like Improv. They're not like Helium. They're not like Punchline. They're just like a local family-owned business that sells sandwiches, but they're not McDonald's, you know? And I'm not saying either or can be good or bad.
No, you're very right. And I look at it like I try to go to the clubs. And it's not easy to get into those clubs either because there's so many people here as well. Like, you know how many people I saw at Cap City that I never see downtown?
Bro, when I hosted the open mic, you were there that night.
Yeah.
There was just like people with like stage names. It's like, here comes Sweet Cake, and it's just this cute-ass black chick I've never seen in my life, and she has no idea of how to even hold the microphone. And then there's, like, other weird names. I'm just like, you guys have, like, nicknames.
Yeah, this is different. Tampa was a lot different. For me, when I got to Tampa, I was only there for 3 years, but when I got there, I showed up to Side Splitters, which fuck that club. I showed up there. They embraced me right away. Fuck that club. They gave me opportunity to put on a show because I just asked. Like a lot of people that lived there for years didn't ask for opportunities. I asked for opportunities. I was able to throw shows. Our first show had 80 people. I was excited because I didn't know nobody. It was all like comedians that never been on the main stage. Then whatever happened there, I brought David Lucas there. I brought fucking Hans there, and then that's when I was like, all right, I got my feet wet. I already know that Kill Tony universe is gonna be big. If I'm one of the people that bring them out, I'll be the springboard
for sure.
So then I went to the Improv, and when I got to the Improv, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, how in the fuck did within 3 years I'm throwing a show at the Improv? And we've done 3 shows since then. So it's been a lot easier to get in because the talent, asking the right questions, getting the green light to do things. And then when I come here, I get it, but I get it from San Antonio or I get it from Killeen versus getting it here in Austin.
Right.
Like I threw one show, and it was with Shang, and that was at Roscoe's. And,
oh my God, I know Shang.
It was terrible. And the reason why it was terrible is he flew out. He did it on his own dime. I challenged him. I was like, if you think you can sell out, come to Austin and see if you can sell out. He was like, don't you threaten me. I'll come out there and I'll kill it. He came out and like not a lot of tickets sold.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I normally sell out everywhere. And I'm like, I don't know.
He's infamous for like spamming his Facebook followers with shows. Like for years, he tags me in flyers. I was like, I'm not going to be in St. Louis tomorrow. Why the fuck are you tagging me in this?
It's the old school way. He has
100%.
He doesn't know what he's doing. But he ended up coming and ended up sitting in the back and not performing. The next night.
He didn't perform?
No, I ended up doing 45 minutes
wow.
with him in the back of the room sitting there watching. While other people came to see him, they're in there laughing, and they're in there waiting like, what's going on? Who's coming up next?
How many people were there?
14.
You still got to perform, though. Jesus.
He was like, I'm not doing it. So I ended up doing it the next night. I was like, we're in San Antonio the next night. So I go down to San Antonio.
Was it upstage?
Yep. He calls me, and he goes, I'm at the airport. And I go, we have a show in like an hour. He goes, you'll be all right. I saw you last night. You'll do great. So I had to tell them again after, like, it was just a debacle, dog. So I get up there, I perform. Right when I get off, I'm like, all right, so thank y'all for coming. You have a great night. One lady goes, so Shane's not here? I said, well, talk to the club and talk to y'all later. Peace. It was just it was wild. I'm glad I didn't have to pay him for like flight, hotel, and all of that.
Oh, I've seen that happen to comics before.
Yeah, dog.
Or they've had to like eat fucking a lot of money for a show that either didn't happen or the comic had a meltdown or just any mix of that.
Like there's another story of upstage. There was a comedian that was supposed to come. He waited till the last minute. Tickets were like $500-$600, and he ended up not going. And the club had like 90 tickets sold.
Oh my God!
So they had to give all their money back and let everybody know the day before the show. Oh, by the way, it's canceled.
Well, there's a story from what's the award ceremony that gives TV shows awards?
Golden Globes.
Golden Globes. Okay, so this was back in like the Chappelle Show day.
Yep.
And Charlie Murphy was doing his thing where he was headlining, and he came to the Tempe Improv, and they did shows like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then one show Sunday. That's like a pretty regularly scheduled thing, and have a one show Sunday. That was the day of the Golden Globes, and the Chappelle Show was nominated. And like a few hours before the show, he's like, "I'm going back to L.A. I'm going to the Golden Globes," and they're like, "What are you talking about? The show is sold out." So they had to call like a local Phoenix headliner to go fill in, and it's like a 95% black audience, and some like corny white dude comes on stage. He's like, "Hey," and he said he got booed, and
of course,
I was like, "Oh my God."
No, it's wild at the stuff that happens, man. Like I've done maybe 50 shows, in the early days, I lost a lot of money, dog.
Oh my God!
I brought out Gerald Kelly to Florida. Nobody came back. Nobody came, and I put him up in like some shitty ass hotel, and he was like, "I will never do this again." And I was like, God. "I will never book you again." And then I ended up booking him again. That's just crazy. And look, it's wild. These older comedians are delusional. For them to think that their credits on BET or their credits on Comic View still hold weight. Some do. Some people that have never
the fact
stopped.
that you wrote for Moesha in 1997 doesn't fucking matter anymore. Like, people don't even know what that is, you know?
He said people don't even know about Mo to the.
If you're like 29 years old now, you don't know what the fuck that is.
You have
like,
no clue.
Or even like younger probably, but.
I know my daughter has no idea. This is crazy. But I've watched them, right? And I used to be online a lot, on live. Talking to them, and I kind of slowed up because I was like, if they're on live with me, they're not doing that well.
Right. Dude, you know who's figured it out a little bit, and he's a very controversial, hot-headed, drunken lunatic, but he's probably 60 years old now, is Willie Barcena. Do you know him?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So his Instagram is pretty lit. He has like hundreds of thousands of followers. He has reels in high definition with great audio, tour dates, clips, he has a team that has organized his Instagram to be like he has like you'd think he was a 28-year-old on TikTok, but he's a 60-year-old who's been doing comedy for 40 fucking years, but he's selling out clubs and theaters because his social media is on it.
Yeah, man, it's kind of hard to break into that social media shit, like posting and putting your hashtags and it. it's difficult because I put out some really good clips that I had like from big clubs, and I'm like, yo, this one is the one.
This one's gonna hit, and then nothing,
fucking
right?
300, 400, 1,000, and I'm like, all right, well, redo it in, let's say, 6 months and see what happens.
Yeah.
Still not like the same amount.
Yeah,
I
need to go back and delete some of my duds and either upload a better, newer version of the same joke or the same fucking video and just hope that it hits the right fucking part of the algorithm.
That's what I'm just gonna keep reposting. Like, I have some older jokes that I don't do anymore that I want to go back and start looking at, because there's some really funny shit that I've never extended on. So I want to go back and try those, but I want to try those in good rooms. I'm not going to go and try those at these fucking shitty open mics and then post 4 dudes going,
That's what I said at the beginning of this podcast and to you before we started recording. Like, I'm at a phase right now where for my own mental health and my own just living a life worth living, I'm done like just chasing stage time just to chase stage time, at least for a little while. I'll probably get the bug again and have a bunch of like some crazy things gonna happen to me. I'll be like, oh, I gotta tell this joke all week, anywhere I can.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm just like, I gotta get my money up, and I have to fucking figure out a way to be more creative outside of stand up, because that seems to be the thing to do these days. Is, you know,
I mean, even doing this, right?
For sure.
To have this is a way to reach people.
100%.
There's not a lot of people that have a setup. Not a lot of people that have the internal fortitude to continuously do this. Like,
bro,
me.
This is episode 238, so it's like I have not really taken much time, and this podcast has gone up and down as far as popularity. Like when I talked about it on Kill Tony, it got 3,000 downloads that week.
Hell yeah.
The other week, out of nowhere, I had like 700 downloads in like a day, and I was like, what the fuck? And then now it's kind of plateaued and gone back down, but there's dozens of people that fuck with this, like, and listen to every episode. So I'm like, I'm thankful for that. I know it's not the Joe Rogan experience, 39 million views with Donald Trump and shit, but like, I value the individuals that listen to this, and it's a good way for me to vent and write too.
Well, also, you're going to be able to gauge it because you're going to go to these places and people are going to be like, yo, I listen to your shit. Like,
yeah.
That's the main way. Like, even me doing those little motivational, like, you should stop worrying about blah, blah, blah. People walked up to me and was like, yo, the shit that you're saying as a comedian, I like that shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, all right, well, I'll start doing it because I was going to stop doing them.
No, keep that shit up.
Yeah, I think that as long as you're adding things to the internet, but you gotta cover it all. You gotta be on all the socials. You gotta have, like, I got a like a vlog not a vlog, but a blog that I do where I write about all my experiences that happen that are like major experiences, and I want to turn that into a book eventually. Like, these are small things that you can do thinking forward. Like, okay, in 20 years, I'm gonna sell this book, and this book's gonna be a fucking bestseller.
Right. Yeah, I mean, only doing stand-up is just not an option anymore. You know?
You have to be a manager. Like, nobody's fucking trying to book you for a fucking tour. So
no one cares if you're, like, good at stand-up anymore. Like, I mean, yeah, that helps absolutely. In the moment when the lights go down and the microphone's turned on in front of a real crowd, of course they want you to be good. But the journey to get there and to make you bookable and to get in that position requires so many other things than just being good at stand-up.
So here's an example of 2 comedians that I've watched, and they all travel with a bigger comedian but also do their own individual dates.
Yeah.
So Bryson, what is it?
I know who you're talking about. He's like from Austin.
Yes. So
Bryson, I know he works with Londo sometimes.
I feel like an asshole because I just saw him. Bryson Bronson? What the fuck? Hold on. I'll find it right now.
Yeah, Bryson. I know exactly. He started in Austin.
He had really long dreadlocks and he cut them off. I literally saw this motherfucker last night.
Is it Bryson Brown?
It is.
Yep.
It is. So last night, last night and Friday, he opened for Bruce. And when he's up there, I'm like, man, this dude is a fucking headliner. What is he doing opening for Bruce? But opening for Bruce puts you in front of a large amount of people.
Of course, and like 100%. And just because you can headline and you're capable of it and you get dates, like the best like features and openers are probably headliner level opening for the famous person.
Yeah. Like same thing with Isaiah Kelly. Isaiah Kelly opens for LeVar
Crawford?
Lavelle Crawford.
Lavelle Crawford,
which is wild, right? But he also has his own individual dates. And again, to watch these people, like that's what going to the Cap City is for, right? You go to Cap City to open up for someone with hopes of killing it, crushing it, and then that person being like, yo, man, I don't really, ride with people. That's why I'm here with nobody right now.
Yeah.
And if you would love to go on a road with me, I'd love to see you here, here, and here. But I don't know, man. It's like a weird.
That's a harder position to get these days, it seems like. Like, it happens, and I know people personally whose careers have been made because they were the house MC at the Tempe Improv circa 2016, and the real headliner liked them enough to now that's their feature, and they've been doing it for years, or it lasted years, and now they're put on, and they can, it's leveled them up because of it. But now it's so saturated, people kind of have their dudes that
they fuck with.
If you're lucky, if like a local club, which like I've stated, they lack like real clubs like that here, or I mean, you can travel and go to other ones. To get noticed as an MC by like a headliner that will take you on it's harder to get in that position now than it was before. And then that's kind of a lucky thing that happens anyway. So like house MCs that aren't as common anymore.
Yeah.
And then it's already a lucky thing you're trying to get anyway. So like now it's almost like I'm almost lucky to get the house MC position, and then I can pray to God that homeboy likes me enough to take me on a tour.
I've seen it happen, man.
Oh, hell yeah. I know people that it's been their bread and butter. Like I have a buddy, I'll even say his name, Luis Alvarez, out of Phoenix. By like year 3, year 4 in comedy, he was the house MC at the Tempe Improv, and now he just tours like the world with Brian Callen. That's his guy now.
So my buddy was just an open micer. He had his own show that he would throw at a bar or a brewery, and it would do well because they would go out when they would bark. Nate Jackson came into town. He worked for, I want to say it was like the Air Force Academy doing videography. He did a fucking promo video for fucking Nate. Nate was like, yo, this is dope. You want to move to fucking Seattle? And ironically, he was from Seattle. So he just went back home.
That's sick.
And now he travels. And it's been, I want to say, a year and a half that he's been on the road with Nate.
Yeah.
Every spot in the recording video and editing video in between.
There's a guy from Phoenix who travels with Ari Spears, and he like records all of his sets and edits everything down, and he throws them like a few G's to go on the road with them. And I'm just like,
I mean, you got to make yourself beneficial. Like you can either become friends with this person, because I've built relationships with bigger comedians, but it's always been like just a regular relationship, and not more of a, oh, I'll fuck with you in comedy and you should be able to blah blah blah. I'll just be like, can I open? They'd be like, yes or no, and I'll pull up to where they are. But as far as like me going and killing, they're like, you're supposed to fucking kill. This is your area, motherfucker. Like, and I'm like, I just murdered in front of Ali, man. He's gonna take me on the road. No, nigga.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, that's like that's the standard almost. It's just like, okay, like. What can you do for me? I know 52 funny dudes I could take on the road.
But again, like, we don't know the process, right? They don't say, okay, so you are an open micer for 5 years, and after 5 years you'll become a feature.
There's no set path.
There is none.
Comedy isn't fair. It's not supposed to be fair. No one deserves anything, but you can earn things at the same time, but it's never guaranteed, and it's so weird. Like, there's nothing else in life that I can think of where it's like, getting lucky propels you to something that someone who has worked so much harder and is so much higher level at it than them might never get.
I just don't like. I wish there was a way to understand the path, right? But like, okay, once you get to this point, then this is a possibility. Not even saying that it's gonna happen, but like, okay, 5 years in, you should start doing this. 7 years in, I'm like, I've been doing everything since the beginning.
Yeah.
I feel like I've made a lot of big steps, but there are just moments in time that pass.
I think the best way to kind of do that is to have own personal goals.
Yeah.
And to be like, by May, I want to have this and I want to do this, and to have personal like lists and goals that you have like markings and try to achieve and obtain and be methodical and what you want to do, that's the only way. But as far as just like, it's so random and it's so all over the fucking place, and it's, and there's that whole cliche, you make your own luck. Fair enough. That's true. Because you have to be ready and you have to be there. So it's like if you didn't show up that night and you weren't getting on stage every fucking night and the dude asked you to go up for one, you were there. Yeah, it's lucky he asked you, but it's not lucky that you crushed it because you've been working. Yeah.
No, and like, so I go to the creek all the time. And I used to be like, I'm not finna hang around. And then I saw one of the buddies. He was like, man, I was just hanging around. And I asked her, I was like, if you ever need anybody. And then I went and saw that motherfucker, and it looked like a whole different person, dog. He was up there murdering.
Yeah.
And I was like, hold on, this is the same jokes he does in the rooms, and they don't give him a lot of love. And I was like, so it's not the jokes. It's never been the jokes. It's always, are you in the right room with the right crowd? And
100%.
And I want to, like, I want to go tonight. I want to go hang out at the creek, but I'm not finna do it because I'm like, I gotta work in the morning. What do I look like? There's no open mic, you know what I'm saying? And now that I know there's Kill Tony tomorrow, I'm definitely gonna go get some sleep so I can be up for tomorrow.
100%. Yes, you gotta weigh what's worth your time too. Like as far as like hitting open mics, I'm like, what's conducive to my time, and something I can benefit from being out and about, like.
When I first got here, I was with everything. I was like, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there, I'm going to go here.
Right.
And then once I realized, like, do you remember how Monday's open mic used to be back, like, maybe in January?
Like Mothership?
The after Mothership mic over at Shakespeare's.
Yeah.
Like when Leo had it.
Right. It was crazy.
Room was freaking popping, right? And then it went away, and then we went over to Maggie's, and then Maggie's was popping for a minute, and then that kind of died down.
Right. Well, half the fucking building closed down.
It's wild how you'll go through these little stints of, oh, it's popular, there's a lot of people there, and then you go and you crush, and then 3 months later you're like, why am I here?
Dude, yeah, it's a day-to-day thing with comedy. Yeah. I mean, probably week to week, but if you live in your own head and you're just like getting up enough, like it can, from Monday to Wednesday can be a whole different attitude that you're going into the night with.
I just feel like I'm overwhelmed because I got to go and sit around, wait for opportunities, and I feel like I'm better than some of these comics that are signed up in front of me.
Right.
I gotta listen, either walk around the city until it's my turn, or sit there for fucking 3 hours to get on to do 3 minutes, to get home, to work the next day and be like, what the fuck was I doing out till fucking midnight yesterday?
Right.
To get fucking 3 minutes, and I hope that I can get a clip out of that 3 minutes.
Yeah. It's not, I mean, like I said, it's right for people at different phases in their life. But like I said, I'm
only beginners, nigga.
Yeah, or if that's what you really find happiness in, and you don't give a fuck about a real sleep schedule or an actual income, and you just want to be out there because you feel like you found. That's a lot of the thing with comedy. People feel like it's the gayest shit ever. They're like, oh, I found my people, and like, it's like, okay, you have no money to your name, you're a drug addict, and you're hanging out with people on a sidewalk right now. Yeah, I get it. I'm not trying to judge or be a dick about it, but at some point you need to slap yourself in the fucking face and be an adult too.
Well, what I want to say about that is that there are a lot of people that I know that are here in Austin just because they are introverts and want to get out of being an introvert.
Really?
They want friends. Yeah. And they're like, oh, what is, like, go play golf. Go play fucking pool. They're like, no, they're so inviting. Because if you just say you're a comic, you're like, oh, you're a comic. You're just like me. You're like,
no, I'm not.
How long have you been doing comedy? 3 days. Bitch, you are a person that wants to make people laugh. There's a difference between the two.
You participate in open mics.
Bro, there's so many that are, and I everybody deserves an opportunity, right? 6 years in, 12 years in,
13. Yeah.
That's a fucking long time to be dedicated to something. For a person that's doing it a year in, I get it. I was there before too. It took a toll on me. Like even now, I question, like, what the fuck am I doing? But I know that it is a itch that I can't scratch. I have to get on stage at some point.
Yeah, it's impossible to quit comedy if you actually love it and do it. I mean,
you got to learn how to do it. You got to learn how to do it at a high level. But once you figure out your point of view, what you're trying to say, and how to make it funny, because you can make anything funny.
Right.
But again, you said it's subjective. I believe it too, because man, my daughter loves when people fall. She'll watch videos of people falling and hurting themselves and die laughing. I show her Martin, and she goes, huh. I'm like, what? Do you not get? She goes, all right, there's some parts. Like, but for the most part, it's totally different. Her comedy or her comedic fucking whatever you want to call it, leveling, she does not think that stand-up is funny. But let Jackass come on.
Oh, my God.
And she thinks it's the funniest thing ever.
Right.
I don't know. I think that eventually the cream will rise to the top, right?
I think Austin is still like, it's still like this whole boom is new. At the end of the day, it's only been happening for like, it's only got, Mothership's been open a year and a half. Yeah. You know what I mean? This, I just fear that all the people that either move or figure out comedy's not for them are just going to be replaced tenfold for other people that move out here.
They are.
But I think the turnover rate is going to speed up. People that, were borderline homeless for a year and a half, that's going to turn into 6 months. And then that 6 months is going to turn into just like 2 months. And then people are going to quit at a quicker rate, I think. But I feel like that the turnover is still going to keep happening. And that, because I've had conversations with other comics. They're like, dude, this is like a bubble and it's going to burst. This is not sustainable. Yeah. Clubs are going to close. People are going to quit. Lives are going to be destroyed. And I'm like, yeah. I agree, but it's sure. And I don't wish, I don't know what to say. I try not to be like an asshole to people.
I do.
But at the end of the day, it's like some of these fucking people, it's just like, go apply for a job, and I'm trying to help you out. It's like, I've seen you. You're not funny, and you are young enough to where you can save yourself. Like, don't try to fucking be a comic for the next 30 years. And you know what? If you prove me wrong, God bless you. You're Kobe Bryant. You did it.
Yeah.
Nobody loses. I was wrong. I'm wrong all the fucking time, so I don't give a fuck if you prove me wrong and you end up becoming a world-renowned headliner. But for right now, at your age and your ability, this is not it.
I've been highly impressed with a lot of comedians from the city that I've seen start off, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I see them later on, and I'm like, I see you working.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I could tell that you're
Dude, I went through this phase years ago where I saw someone that was bad, and I was just like, this person just sucks.
Yeah.
A couple of those people are like legitimately doing way better than me.
Yeah.
Whether it's just pure, like they're actually funnier than me on stage, or they're more successful than me. And I've just seen other people at a lower level where they were just bomb artists. About 7 years later, they crush. And I'm like, it's possible. Yeah, you can be objectively bad. Because I've seen people that, they bomb a lot, but I can hear it. I'm like, oh, that person's going to be good someday.
Yeah.
I've seen people that was like, there's no chance in hell this person can fart something funny, and now they're good.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's subjective, right? So somebody's going to think it's funny.
Yeah.
But it just takes time, man. This thing is not easy at all. I thought it was. I got into it thinking like, man, 3 years, I'm gonna be headlining.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And
what are you now? 6, 7?
6.
Yeah.
So, and I've done some headlining gigs, but as the OGs would say, I didn't headline. I just went last.
Or you just were on stage for the allotted amount of time, because early on, like when I was like a year in, I don't know why or how I was getting these shows, but when I was literally like, I have this video still. I was doing comedy like 11 months, and I do like 30 minutes, and it isn't terrible as far as the crowd reaction. I was like, oh, I made them laugh for like 90% of that set.
Yeah.
But would I ever tell any of those jokes again?
Probably
Fuck
not.
no.
Yeah.
So when people say how much time they have, like you're a 5-minute comedian at year 1.
Yeah.
You might be a 5-minute comedian at year 4. It's just a different 5, and you tell it better.
Come on.
You don't just stack jokes on top of jokes. You revise, replace, and come up with new shit.
Very true. For the longest, I was like, I don't have any time. And then I got on stage one day and just was going in. And then and the guy was like, I was like,
Oh
what?
my
He was
God.
like, you've been going too long. I was like, I've never, man, all right, I'll take it. I'll take going too long.
Right.
Versus getting up there and not having enough material and being like, all right, so that's all I got for you guys.
Right.
And I've done that before too. Like, matter of fact, at the Litty Titty Tuesdays, I was up there crushing. And then in the middle, I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave them with this.
Yeah.
They always say
more is better.
That's what they said. And honestly, I got into some shit with somebody, and she was like, "Why'd you get off?" And I was just like, "It was time. It was time to go." I'm more focused on working on what I want to work on. Like I'm in control of the comedy. I'm in control over my opportunities. I'm in control over my material. Right. So if I know that if I go, when I was in Florida, I did a lot of family material, and it was because I lived in an older area.
Right,
I knew that they were going to eat that up. If I came in there talking about bitches and hoes, it wasn't going to fly. Yeah. When I got here, I was like, I can say pretty much anything. But then when you're saturated with people saying absolutely anything, you do not stand out. You're just another person that's trying. They call you the shock value comedian at that point.
The edgelords.
Yeah, and I want to be edgy. I want to fucking make people think. I want to make people squirm.
But being edgy just because that's who you are and where your mind is, not being it just to force it. There's a lot of these people that just like they force offensiveness, and it's just like, I'm not offended by anything, but I can see what you're doing, and it's corny. You know, like when people are up there and they're just like, oh, I fucked the dead baby or whatever they're doing. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
If there's a punchline that's clever attached to that, I'll hear you out for sure.
Yeah.
But some people just, they don't, there's other variables that come into it. It's just like sometimes you just can't look a certain way and say something. As crazy as that sounds, if like you're just, I don't know, there's some people I'm just like, you saying that doesn't make sense. You know, you got to earn that. You got to like figure out a different stage presence or like look different in order to say something like, you can't be 23 years old with a beanie on and talk about something like that. You know, like it's not, I don't make the rules. I've just seen it happen too many times where someone tries to get too edgy at too young of an age with a certain look, and it's just not going to work.
I want to do a poll to find out like how many times in this city do they say I'm gay as a punchline?
Oh my God, bro! Make it a drinking game. People will black out.
It is so bad. Like if you're bombing in Austin, all you got to do is say, "Hey, by the way, I'm gay," and they're gonna be like, "Oh, that's hilarious."
Yeah.
It just drives me wild. I even count. I'd be like, "How many gays are we gonna get today?"
Or the, I mean, whatever. We're on YouTube, but here's the thing about YouTube: you just don't say crazy shit at the beginning. There's like literally, this person like broke it down before. Like the first 10 minutes, just be on your behavior, and then after that, the algorithm kind of goes away.
Yeah.
Faggot and retard are like.
That is
I've
true.
said it on stage and I'll say it again on stage, but it kind of has a purpose or it's aimed at something where I need to say it. But when you're up there and every punchline is that, and that's like you resort to that when you're like bombing. Oh, a bunch of faggots and retards out there, I guess. You know what I mean? Like
it still makes me laugh every time I hear it.
Bro, someone on stage the other day, literally, I forget where I was, but they had to have said it like 8 times in a 4-minute set, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Bombing too, so it's not even. I was like
the dude with the Montenegro jokes and Kill Tony.
Bro,
what?
You want to know that? I told a story about that guy. So he told me that joke like 7 months ago.
Wow.
And I went on stage at it closed down. The whole place closed. The Dig Pub in Cedar Park was one of my favorite open mics because shout out to Corey Adam. I would show up and there'd just be like 5 people, 8 comics, and I would just yell about my day and just yell about the mothership, this and that. And I would just work on new jokes.
Yeah.
Sue me. I said it the way he told me. I said the hard R. And I was like, and it murdered so hard, just like me making fun of this idiot.
Yeah.
And that was 7-8 months ago. He got on 2 weeks ago, and that was his first time on stage. So I was like, you're just some crazy homeless dude.
Yeah.
Who's just straight up waiting for his chance to say the N-word in front of the world. Like,
Yo, I didn't I don't know. That was wild. That night, somebody said that, and I
Yeah.
was like, for real? And they were like, yeah, he said it with the hard R. And I was like, you ain't say he said Monta at the beginning, though. I was
Right.
like,
yeah.
Like, it'd be different. They made it seem like he went up there and was like, you N-word. I was like, what the hell is going on right now?
Yeah, no. There was some guy on Facebook who was pissed about it. Someone posted a clip and said, this is white comedians in 2024, and it was just an out of I mean, it's true though, and it was just like just him dropping the hard R, and this dude was like, we need to make this guy famous, blah blah, and I said, I know this dude. He's literally a mentally ill homeless man who lives in his car, and he's not even a comedian. It's not that serious. It's like you're literally going after someone that has less than nothing, and there's no reason to be this upset about it. He told me that joke 7 months ago, and somehow that was still his first time on stage. He's not a comic. Wow. Let it go. It's not that big.
That was nuts. And I didn't even think they were going to air it, but they put it up there.
Why didn't they beep it out? And I'm all for whatever. Yeah. I don't think they should beep out anything, but they're beeping out asshole, but that they're not beeping out the hard R doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know. It's wild, man. I've watched the show and I've turned it off, and then I turn. You know what I mean? Like I go through my my binges and like sometimes when I watch it, I'm like, holy shit, bro, this is fucking like the production, like all of it. I was like, this is legit. Mm-hmm. And then other times I'm like, this is a fucking shit show.
100%. Like it all depends on who the panel is, the luck of the draw, but yeah, there's a lot of really like high level, very respected comedians who just don't like it at all. And I respect their stance and their opinion, and they do make sound solid points, but I'm like, as a comic that's trying to get his and get any type of recognition, and I live 7 miles from there, I'm signing up because the exposure is so fucking next level. And it's not going to cost me a lot besides a couple hours a week. So, everyone's going to have their opinion on the show. It's a good show.
Yeah.
As a comic that respects and lives and dies for stand-up, there's a lot of flaws for me personally. I'm just like, the people that sign up and it attracts a lot of, I see great comics bomb because it's 1 fucking minute.
Yeah.
You're not going to judge someone on 1 fucking minute. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
It's not as easy as it looks. Like even some of the OGs, I tell them, I'm like, yo, you should go on there. They'll be like, man, I murdered that shit in 1 minute. I was like, all right, I hear you. Even some of the people that just got on, when they got on, I knew they were gonna do well. There were some people that got on that I didn't think they was gonna do well and ended up doing really well. Yeah, and I was like, what? You never fucking know. You never know. You never know.
It's not a great game. I mean, it is what it is, and it's good for what they've set it up to be. But I'm saying, like I've said, I'll say this again. Kill Tony fans are a bunch of WWE nerds who think they're experts on MMA. Like, they don't really know high-level, good stand-up comedy like that. So, I mean, they have their regulars on there. They have Tony himself, who's, he's a great roaster. He's a good comic. He's king of the world. But I'm saying their opinions on certain things, I'm like, you don't even fucking know stand-up comedy like that.
Yeah, no, they're... Like I'm in the Reddit and I listen to the motherfuckers. It reminds me of like 13-year-olds with Twitter fingers.
100%.
Mom, spaghetti ready yet? I hate this.
Here's the thing. Like I said, I'm not trying to start shit or anything, but Chad Daniels, he was on a few months ago and he got into it with William Montgomery.
That was funny, yeah.
It was funny, and with all due respect, Chad Daniels did kind of come off as a Karen, and like
for sure.
It was. But the comments...
Even afterwards he did.
Oh, hell yeah. He made it worse. But the comments on Reddit were just like, who's this fucking dummy? Blah, 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 blah. And you know what? Like, William is who he is, and he's killing it, and I would love to be in the position of him. But I was like, pound for pound, joke for joke, special for special, Chad Daniels runs laps around William Montgomery as a stand-up comic. Fair enough, but the comments were acting like he was some nobody loser, unfunny hack, and I'm just like, bro, he has like 5 specials. What the fuck are you talking about?
But when you're in a bubble and you see everything from that bubble, like your highlight is the Reddit fucking thread.
For sure, that's your world. That's your echo chamber. You're not even gonna know
who like I went on stage with one of them guys and I had no idea who the fuck he was. I had to Google him when I got off stage and it still couldn't find him.
Yeah,
I had to wait until the actual episode came out. So there's gonna be some comedians that go on there. You're like, who in the fuck? Like I know Chris DiStefano, but I didn't know the other dude with the glasses. I know they're all.
Sam Tripoli.
No, I don't think it was Sam Tripoli.
No, you're right. It was the Joe DeRosa. It was 100%. It was Joe DeRosa.
But so I know Sam, and I just know him from being, with the Normans and all of them in that area. But I did not know who that second guy was. Now that I've seen him, now I follow him. You know what I mean? But before
for sure.
then, you wouldn't know. But if you're 13, 15, 20, and you're like, yo, fucking Kill Tony's the best ever, and you got some dude coming on there.
For sure.
Of course.
Yeah. Just as a person that's like in it more, it's just like it was ridiculous to see
because
them.
you're a comic and you
respect,
respect you know what he's done in his career compared to
what's the chat saying? Tony just performed at MSG at the Trump rally. Haha, holy fuck. Yeah, I watched it already. It was crazy.
I didn't watch it.
It was too much time. I don't know why the fuck they gave him like 12 minutes. Fine, let him cook, but I thought he would get like 5 minutes. I was like, homie's doing a real set. Like,
was he roasting like just?
Yeah, he was doing jokes and roasting. Some of it hit, some of it missed, some of it was just like, yeah, you're not supposed to crush. So like he was getting loud cheers and clapter for certain things. Some things got big laughs, some things bombed. He had the whole experience.
So I'm gonna say it now. I think Trump is going to lose, and it's simply because when Tony went to Texas, they lost #1 position.
Oh, my God.
So it's a curse. It's the Kill Tony curse.
Yeah.
Anything Tony touches other than the Kill Tony shit is going to crumble.
That's hilarious.
We'll see in November. We got
shit next fucking week. What is it?
Hell yeah, the 7th?
The 6th, I think.
Well, no. I'm telling you, I think it's because of Tony. Tony is the negative.
Oh, my God.
He is the dark horse of the world.
That's hilarious.
We'll see.
None of those people even knew who the fuck he was.
My point, that's probably why he didn't crush. If it would have been a bunch of...
Oh, yeah. I mean, he didn't do horrible. There was some... He did okay, but it was just an odd selection. I was just like, yeah, let him go up there for a few minutes. Homie had like an 11, 12-minute set.
I'm sure he got paid a nice little chunk for that,
Oh, fuck yeah. All those dudes got paid.
But I was thinking about that too. Do you see how
Tuesday, November 5th? Okay.
Do you see how all the fucking political people and even just main people are going to podcasts now? They're fuck the news, fuck going on. You know what I mean? Like they used to go to the
Trump Rogan podcast has to have 30 million now. I think
that's crazy,
and it's been up a day and a half.
That's and I want to say I watched maybe an hour and a half of it, and then I stopped.
Yeah, I listened to a lot of it. Maybe have 45 minutes left. Let's see.
Yeah, I couldn't. I'm like, I'm sitting there, me and my kids, and my kids are like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "This is interesting. This is Joe Rogan."
29 million.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
I don't even get it.
I get it, but it's just.
But I mean, like, you got to think about this. Look. Trump went to fucking JRE and fucking Kamala went to the basketball two dudes. Shit, like,
oh my God.
What was it called? Up in Smoke or All the Smoke?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Look at even watching like
Rogan invited her and she declined it.
Of course, because she don't want to have to spend 3 hours talking about fucking real shit.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah,
like 100%. even what's his name? What's that? Kai. He's fucking big online and shit. He be having all those like celebrities. Whenever they're posting or talking about their next project, they go there versus doing the quintessential going to the news.
It's fucking stupid to call like the legacy news mainstream when they're getting 1/100th of podcasting and internet news shows. It's like, okay, CNN had a grand total of 1.1 million viewers. Joe Rogan has 29 million in 10 minutes. It's like, who's really mainstream? Like, what do we do? Like, we got to revisit these definitions.
And that again is more of the reason why we need to get on this internet and continue to post on the internet, because you never know what'll pop off. But it just, man, it's heartbreaking because I'll post and I post and I post and I'm like, yeah, there was a time where I had my other channel and I was making 50,000 views a month.
Yeah.
And I started saying the R word and then they took my freaking platform away.
Yeah.
I had to start from scratch. And now I'm at like 150 subscribers where I was at 3,000. Like, it's difficult to build unless I don't even get it, bro. I see some people post some shit and all of a sudden it's like, You're like, how?
Some people have been like accepted or something. I don't know what it is. I understand if you have a massive following, that can do it.
Yeah.
But some people who don't even have a massive following, they hit the algorithm every time. I'm like, how do you have 29,000 views in 1 hour?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be checking.
How the fuck does Leonardo have like 3 million views after 12 minutes? Like, I understand she's like a polarizing figure. She's the racist comic who goes everywhere and goes crazy. But I'm just like, mathematically, I don't even understand. I'm not hating either. I'm just confused. And
very,
it's weird.
I mean, at some point we'll figure it out, man. As long as you got to just keep plugging away. That's what they say until you die and you're like, I never did it. What? I never, yeah. You, like, I don't know. I'm just going to keep pushing.
I'm going to do some shit that you remember Periscope?
Yes.
So I was like low-key big on Periscope, but I kept getting banned and suspended, and it was because I was doing, I would say insane things that didn't help, but I'd also just do commentary over movies, and that's copyright violation. Yeah. But I used to do these Ouija board scopes where I would literally just have a Ouija board with candles and be like, I'm going to summon a demon. There would be like 1,700 people watching, praying for me. Like, don't do it, bro. You're going to open up a door that you can't close. And I'd be like, I would just be talking shit and drinking and stuff. So I might go on YouTube and do one of those to see if that spikes the numbers. Because I kind of believe in ghosts and shit, but I'm not afraid of that shit. I don't. Yeah. Maybe I know a lot of.
I can tell with all the scary shit,
bro. I remember I was gonna do a podcast where I would get comedians to come and we'd shoot the shit, and then we would do like a seance. 9 out of 10 comedians were like, "Fuck you, I'm not doing that shit," and I was like, "Whatever."
That's some scary shit, bro.
Yeah, I know, dude. Everyone, like even the dude who I've been working with a lot, Josh Castro, he won't do the Ouija board thing. And I get it. It's fair enough, but what's the worst that's gonna happen? A ghost is gonna show up. Am I gonna die? Like, am I gonna be? Is the movie Hereditary gonna happen to me? I don't know what to expect, but
shit, black people be like, I don't know about that shit. I ain't fuck with the spirits now.
Yeah, I know. I don't blame people either, and I know if something does happen, I'm gonna feel stupid. But anything for the gram, dude.
It didn't happen to me, baby. It was them, all them, baby.
All right. I think we might have hit our. Yeah, we hit an hour 15.
All right, cool.
Is there anything you want to promote on here, or where can people find you is the big one?
Dubz General on everything. That's DUBZ General, like the insurance man. And we got a show next week at Twice as Funny.
Yeah, we're both on. Who all's on it?
So
me, Tony Cruz,
and then Gordon Dixon.
Okay.
That's Friday and Saturday
at Twice as Funny in Killeen.
Correct. And then the 11th, I think it's a Sunday, I have a show called The Bet on Black that's at Shakespeare's every month.
Oh, fuck yeah.
The 13th, I'm with Tone Bell at Cap City.
Oh, hell yeah.
Been working with him. It's a lot of stuff behind the scenes, so hopefully we will release some cool shit later. And then I'm going to Chocolate Sundays in Los Angeles December 1st.
Is that the Laugh Factory?
It is the Laugh Factory.
Oh, hell. They've been doing that there for like 25 years.
Long fucking time. I'm trying to get there.
Since the 90s, for sure.
I'm trying to get there Thursday to do Crack 'em Up Thursdays.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, just, hang around Friday, Saturday, do Chocolate Sundays, and then do Monday Rays because I'm cool with D-Ray. And he'll always give me a spot. So these are the type of spots you want to do because you'll actually see
real hitters, people that are actually doing it.
I see all those people online, but when I see them in person, I'm in awe because I'm like, holy shit! Like I see you all the time telling these jokes, and now I get to see you in real person.
And it's different in person too. That's why I don't even really watch specials. I've said this a million times on here. Like specials are fine, but if I want to watch comedy, I want to watch it live. It's so much better. It's so much different.
Yep.
And I just don't chase watching specials like that. When I'm not performing comedy or watching it live, I do other shit. So
I used to watch them all the time, and I used to do comedy special reviews, but the reviews were so negative that other people
got mad. Where's your special?
Let me tell you the gangster shit happened. I reviewed Mike Ebb's special, and I was like, this shit is mid. This is like 3 out of 5. Matter of fact, it's 2 out of 5. He messaged me. He was like, your whole life is 2 out of 5. I was like, God damn. I was like, for real?
I think he's at Cap City tonight.
He is.
Because I think he got the whole schedule because he was there last night for sure.
Yep.
So maybe they hit him with the Sunday show too.
I did message him to see if I could open for him.
Oh my God!
Never got a response. I messaged Donnell too because Donnell's at the mothership too, and I asked him if I can get a spot. I asked everybody that was in town, "Hey, you got a spot for me?" And none of them answered. So fuck them all.
Right. You got to swing. You got to shoot your shot. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you being on here.
Absolutely.
This will be out pretty much immediately. So
cool.
I don't do this wait fucking 3 weeks and, it comes out. So I always say this at the end of every episode. Until next time, kiddies, stay safe, stay healthy, don't be a bitch, and stay up.
Hell yeah.